My name is Victoria Cross, and I'm 62 years old. The day I discovered my son-in-law Marcus was living a double life. I didn't cry or scream. I simply smiled and began planning the most calculated revenge of my life. What he didn't know was that I had access to everything. His phones, his computers, his secret bank accounts. And I was going to use every single piece of information to destroy the empire of lies he had built. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's return to my story. It started on a Tuesday morning in April. I was at my daughter Jessica's house in Brooklyn, helping her with the baby. Little Emma was only 6 months old, and Jessica was exhausted from sleepless nights. Marcus, my son-in-law, had supposedly left for a business trip to Boston 3 days earlier. He worked in real estate development, or so he claimed, and these trips were becoming more and more frequent. I was in the kitchen making lunch when I heard Jessica's phone buzzing on the counter. The screen lit up with a notification, and what I saw made my blood run cold. It was a message from someone named Amber, with a heart emoji next to the name. The preview read, "Baby, I miss you already. Last night was incredible. When can I see you again?" My hand froze over the phone. Jessica was in the nursery with Emma, singing softly. I shouldn't have looked. I know I shouldn't have. But something deep in my gut told me this was important. I picked up the phone and opened it. Jessica never locked her phone around me. We had that kind of relationship. Or so I thought. But the message wasn't for Jessica. It was in a group chat, and as I scrolled up, I realized these messages were being forwarded from Marcus's phone to Jessica's through some kind of backup app. Jessica had set it up months ago, when Marcus claimed he kept losing important work messages. What I found in those messages destroyed me. Marcus wasn't in Boston. He was in Manhattan, just 40 minutes away, staying at the Plaza Hotel with a woman named Amber. But it got worse. So much worse. There were messages to other women, 6 different women, all with cutesy names and heart emojis. Sarah baby, Michelle love, Kayla sweetheart. And the messages, they were explicit, romantic, promising. He was telling each of these women that he loved them, that he was going to leave his wife, that they were the only one who mattered. My daughter was at home, exhausted and alone, taking care of his baby, while he was out living like a bachelor, romancing multiple women and spending money we didn't even know he had. I took screenshots of everything. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. Then I carefully put it back exactly where it had been, and went to check on Jessica. She was sitting in the rocking chair, Emma asleep in her arms. And she looked so peaceful, so in love with her baby. My heart shattered into a million pieces. How could I tell her? How could I destroy her world? "Mom," she said softly, noticing me in the doorway. "Thank you so much for being here. I don't know what I'd do without you." I forced a smile. That's what mothers are for, sweetheart. But inside, I was already planning. I wasn't going to tell Jessica. Not yet, because if I told her now she would confront Marcus and he would lie his way out of it. Men like Marcus always did. No, I needed something bigger. I needed evidence so overwhelming that he couldn't deny it. And I needed to protect my daughter and my granddaughter financially, before this all came crashing down. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in my bed at home, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Marcus. He had seemed so perfect when Jessica brought him home 5 years ago. He was handsome, charming, successful. He came from a good family in Connecticut. He said all the right things. He treated Jessica like a princess. Or so we thought. I got up and went to my computer. I'm not a tech expert, but I'm not stupid either. I had helped Marcus set up his home office computer last year when Jessica was too pregnant to move furniture, and I remembered that he had saved all his passwords in a little notebook in his desk drawer because he was terrible at remembering them. The next morning, I told Jessica I needed to borrow Marcus's laptop to look up a recipe I had supposedly bookmarked. She gave it to me without hesitation. I spent 6 hours going through everything. Every email, every document, every bank statement, and what I found was staggering. Marcus had 3 separate bank accounts that Jessica didn't know about. The total, over $400,000. Money he had been hiding from her throughout their entire marriage. He had purchased a condo in Miami under an LLC. He was planning to move there with one of his girlfriends, Amber, the one from the Plaza Hotel. He had been stealing from his own company, embezzling money through fake vendor accounts. His business partner David had no idea. And the most horrifying discovery, he had taken out a $200,000 life insurance policy on Jessica, just 3 months ago. 3 months ago, right after Emma was born, when Jessica was at her most vulnerable. I sat back from the computer, my heart pounding. This wasn't just cheating, this was a criminal operation, and my daughter and granddaughter were in danger. I copied everything to a flash drive. Every document, every email, every bank statement, every message. Then I called someone I never thought I'd need to call, my brother Raymond, who was a private investigator. Raymond, I said when he answered, I need your help and I need it now. He came over that afternoon. I showed him everything. His expression grew darker with each revelation. Victoria, he said finally, this guy isn't just a cheater, he's dangerous. The life insurance policy, the hidden money, the planning to leave, this looks like he's setting up to do something terrible. What do you mean? Raymond looked at me with serious eyes. I've seen cases like this before. Guys who want to start a new life, but don't want to deal with alimony or child support. Sometimes they make their wives disappear. Sometimes they make it look like an accident. The room started spinning. You think Marcus would hurt Jessica? I think Marcus is capable of anything. Look at what he's already done. That night, I made a decision. I was going to take down Marcus piece by piece, but I had to do it carefully. If I moved too quickly, he might do something desperate. If I moved too slowly, Jessica might get hurt. Step 1. I called David, Marcus's business partner. We met at a coffee shop in Manhattan. Mrs. Cross, David said, shaking my hand. Is everything okay? You sounded urgent on the phone. David, I need to show you something, and I need you to promise me you'll stay calm. I showed him the evidence of Marcus's embezzlement. David's face went from confusion to shock to rage in about 30 seconds. That bastard, he whispered. I trusted him. We built this company together. I need you to do something for me, I said. I need you to freeze all company accounts that Marcus has access to. And I need you to do it quietly. Can you do that? David nodded grimly. Consider it done. Step 2. I hired Raymond to follow Marcus. For 2 weeks Raymond documented everything. The hotel meetings with different women, the lunches at expensive restaurants, the shopping trips where Marcus bought jewelry and clothes for his girlfriends while Jessica wore the same 3 outfits because they couldn't afford new clothes. Raymond also discovered something interesting. Amber, the main girlfriend, was pregnant. She was showing, about 5 months along. And she believed Marcus was divorced, and that they were going to get married as soon as his business deals closed in Miami. Step 3 was the most important. I met with a lawyer named Patricia Moreno, a shark in a Chanel suit, who specialized in high-conflict divorces. Mrs. Cross, Patricia said after reviewing all my evidence, this is one of the most clear-cut cases I've ever seen. Your daughter will get everything: the house, full custody, child support, alimony. Marcus will be lucky if he doesn't go to prison. I want to make sure Jessica and Emma are protected before he knows what's happening. I said, leave that to me. Over the next 3 weeks, Patricia filed all the paperwork in complete secrecy. She got emergency orders to freeze Marcus's accounts. She prepared divorce papers with every piece of evidence attached. She contacted the DA about the embezzlement, and she helped me plan the perfect moment to reveal everything. It was Jessica's 32nd birthday. Marcus had promised to be home for it, to take her to dinner, to finally spend time with his family. Of course, Raymond informed me that Marcus was actually planning to be in Miami with Amber that weekend. I invited Jessica and Emma to my house for a small birthday lunch. Just family, I said. What Jessica didn't know was that I had also invited David, Marcus's business partner, Patricia the lawyer, Raymond with all his evidence, and 2 police detectives who were very interested in the embezzlement case. and Marcus himself. I had texted him from Jessica's phone saying she was feeling depressed and really needed him to come to my house for her birthday. For once he agreed. Jessica arrived at noon with Emma. She looked beautiful but tired, wearing one of her 3 outfits. "Mom, you didn't have to do all this," she said, seeing the decorations I had put up. "You deserve it, sweetheart. You deserve so much more than you've been getting." She looked at me strangely. "What do you mean?" "You'll see. Marcus is coming, right? He texted me this morning. He said he'd be here at 1. Perfect." At 12:45 everyone else arrived and waited in my living room. Jessica was confused, but I kept her in the kitchen talking about Emma. At 1:15, Marcus walked through the door. He was wearing an expensive suit, looking tanned and relaxed, smiling that charming smile. "Happy birthday, baby," he called out. Jessica walked out of the kitchen smiling, expecting a hug. Instead, she found her husband facing a room full of people who knew exactly what kind of man he was. "Marcus," I said, stepping forward, "I'm glad you could make it. We have a lot to discuss." His smile faltered. "Victoria, what's going on? Who are all these people?" "This is David, your business partner. Patricia, my daughter's divorce attorney. Raymond, my brother, the private investigator, and Detectives Morrison and Chen from the NYPD Fraud Division." The color drained from Marcus's face. Jessica looked at me, confused and scared. "Mom, what's happening?" I took her hand. "Sweetheart, I need you to be strong for what I'm about to tell you." For the next hour we laid it all out. The affairs, all 6 of them. The hidden money. The embezzlement. The condo in Miami. The pregnancy. The life insurance policy. Jessica sank onto the couch, Emma in her arms, tears streaming down her face silently. Marcus tried to run. He actually tried to run, but Detective Morrison blocked the door. "Mr. Bennett," the detective said, "we have a warrant for your arrest for embezzlement and fraud." "This is insane," Marcus shouted. "Victoria, you crazy bitch, you're ruining my life." "No," I said calmly. "You ruined your own life the day you decided to betray my daughter." They arrested him right there in my living room. As they put the handcuffs on, Marcus looked at Jessica with what might have been genuine fear. "Jess, please, you have to believe me. I love you. This is all a misunderstanding." Jessica looked at him with dead eyes. "Get out of my sight." After they took him away, Patricia explained everything to Jessica. The divorce papers, the frozen accounts, the custody arrangements, the financial protection. "Jessica," Patricia said gently, "your mother made sure that you and Emma will be taken care of. Marcus can't touch any of the real assets. And with the criminal charges, he's facing serious prison time." Jessica looked at me, tears still falling. "How long have you known?" 6 weeks, I admitted. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but I needed to make sure you were protected before he found out." She stood up, handed Emma to Raymond, and hugged me so hard I could barely breathe. "Thank you," she sobbed. "Thank you for protecting us." The aftermath was messy but satisfying. Marcus was charged with embezzlement, fraud, and tax evasion. He pled guilty and got 7 years in prison. The judge also ordered him to pay back everything he stole, plus Jessica got the house, full custody, child support, and alimony. Amber, the pregnant girlfriend, showed up at my door 2 months later. She was devastated when she learned the truth. "I had no idea he was married," she cried. "He told me he was divorced. He showed me fake papers." I actually felt sorry for her. She was a victim too, in her own way. "What are you going to do about the baby?" I asked. "I don't know. I can't raise a child alone. I don't have any family." Something in me softened. "When the baby is born, let me know. Jessica might want her child to know they're half-sibling. We're not monsters, even if Marcus is." That was 2 years ago. Today, Jessica is thriving. She got a great job, moved to a bigger house, and Emma is the happiest 2-year-old I've ever seen. Amber had a little boy named Lucas. After some long conversations, Jessica decided she wanted Emma to know her brother. So now, once a month, we all get together, me, Jessica, Emma, Amber, and Lucas. It's unconventional, but it works. Marcus writes letters from prison begging for forgiveness. Jessica throws them away without reading them. As for me, I learned something important. A mother's instinct is real. That moment when I saw the message on Jessica's phone, I could have ignored it. I could have convinced myself it was none of my business. But I didn't. I followed my gut, and I saved my daughter and granddaughter from a dangerous man. Some people say I went too far, that I should have just told Jessica and let her handle it. But I know better. If I had done that, Marcus would have talked his way out of it. He would have made promises, gone to therapy, convinced her to give him another chance, and eventually something terrible might have happened. Instead, I became the villain in his story so I could be the hero in hers, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. If you were in my place, what would you have done? Please share your thoughts in the comments.